Hills for more than 10 hours.
And again, something very unusual. You subpoenaed him in the midst of the session.
That's never happened. We've been at this for about 10 months. That has never happened with the White House.
But the session left members of both parties fuming after Bannon appeared to assert executive privilege, refusing to answer questions about the transition or his time at the White House.
I am frustrated whenever people assert privileges that do not exist.
I ain't gonna lie.
There were a number of times, I think, when we recessed, when Mr. Bannon's counsel sought the advice of the White House.
The White House facing questions about why Bannon's attorney was on the phone with the White House several times during the marathon session.
Sometimes they actually have a White House attorney present in the room. This time it was something that was relayed via phone.
Tonight, the White House insists they have nothing to hide.
So let's get to Pierre Thomas live on the Hill. And Pierre, this showdown continuing to unfold between Bannon and members of Congress. They're now calling Bannon back to the Hill after he refused to answer questions yesterday.
David, Bannon could be back here as early as this week, but Congressman Schiff told us if Bannon continues to refuse to answer questions, Schiff says he may lobby his Republican colleagues to consider taking this matter to court. David?
Pierre, thank you. We're going to turn next here to disturbing new details tonight. New reporting about the 13 children allegedly held captive in their own home, some shackled to the furniture. Well, tonight, the clues from the homes where the family once lived. Here's ABC senior national correspondent Matt Gutman tonight.
Tonight, a glimpse into the alleged fortress of cruelty police say David and Louise Turpin built around their family. The Turpins were led away in handcuffs on Sunday, and Elizabeth Flores says she hasn't seen her sister in 20 years, but says she knew something was off even back then.
I remember they were really strict on the oldest daughter. She stayed there, she was bound to her room a lot, and they would let her come down and eat meals. And it was kind of like, almost like a ritual or something weird. It used to bother me because before she sat down, she would give permission.
These photos obtained exclusively by DailyMail.com show cluttered children's toys stacked up in the home. Current and former neighbors say the Turpins left a trail of red flags.
I have Snap.
Anywhere from 12:30 to 3 in the morning.
That Instagram
the kids marching between those two rooms up there.
And how long would they march back and forth for in single file?
Hours. Yeah, they're just like they were in the military, just making a move.
In Texas, their former neighbor says family home.
I called it the car pound because they were so closed off from society.
You don't
David,
do leave on all
parents are
that.
scheduled to be arraigned in this courthouse tomorrow. That as Child Protective Services continues to evaluate those 13 siblings. And to give you a sense of how malnourished the elder 7 adults were, all of them require new clothing,
particulars
but
with nice
children's
here.
sizes. David.
All right, Matt Gutman, our thanks to you again tonight. We turn to major developments in the murder of that college student brought to a park by someone he knew from high school.
Oh, you bring
never
us
left that park, and tonight his parents are speaking out.
That's
Here's
so the
ABC's
black
Kate
soap?
Woodward.
No, that's a brownie.
Oh,
There's too much time.
today, shackled, charged in a brutal murder of Blaze Bernstein. His body found in a shallow
You didn't
grave
find
at
it that
Southern
so?
California.
I never went to, I didn't go
Days after
outside.
leaving his
I can pick it up for
home.
you tomorrow.
Woodward is accused of visiting the crime scene days after the murder.
Prosecutors say Woodward picked Bernstein up in his car that night and was later discovered to have scratches and dirt on his hands.
He's also accused of cleaning up the car that he used the night that he picked up Blaze.
A law enforcement source telling the LA Times Bernstein was found with more than 20 stab wounds. Hundreds turning out for the memorial service for the 19-year-old UPenn student who loved cooking and writing.
He was a gentle soul. He would never hurt anyone. He was just giving.
Bernstein's parents say their son was gay and are questioning whether he might have been the victim of a hate crime. Prosecutors are still investigating.
We'd have to show that the reason for the murder was substantially for the reason that he was gay.
David, a priest and family friend of the Woodwards tells me the family is deeply religious and that he last saw Sam 2 Sundays ago in church, just days after the alleged murder. His arraignment has been continued until February 2nd. David?
Kate Whitworth, Kate, thank you. Next, a former CIA case officer under arrest tonight and now charged with illegally possessing government secrets. Jerry Chun-Ching Lee left the CIA in 2007. In 2012, an FBI search found notebooks that contained classified information, including names and phone numbers of covert CIA assets. It is unclear why they waited years to arrest him. The New York Times now reporting that the investigation comes against the backdrop of a major breach of CIA informants in China. More than a dozen informants killed or imprisoned in recent years. We turn next tonight to an ABC News exclusive, our one-on-one this evening with Apple CEO Tim Cook, who made a major announcement today when it comes to American jobs, 20,000 new jobs. And Apple writing a check to the U.S. taxpayer for $38 billion from cash sitting overseas. It's coming back. And he promises investments in the U.S. that will hit $350 billion over 5 years.
This one for the money done your phone.
Where are the jobs coming? And we also ask, will there be a cheaper iPhone? And what about those batteries that slowed down? Here's Rebecca Jarvis.
Tonight, the biggest company in the world announcing a $350 billion investment in the United States. Apple saying it will create 20,000 new jobs and build a new corporate campus in an American city still unnamed. Apple CEO Tim Cook exclusively taking us inside the tech giant's massive data center in Reno, Nevada.
We're walking on the cloud right now.
The new lower corporate tax rate allowing Apple to write a check for $38 billion to the U.S. government.
Without these policy changes, would you be able to announce today the creation of 20,000 new jobs?
No, there are clearly, let me be clear, there are large parts of this that are a result of the tax reform, and there's large parts of this that we would have done in any situation.
So it sounds like President Trump's tax bill has been a huge windfall for Apple.
Well, there are two parts of tax bill, right? There's a corporate piece and an individual piece. I do believe the corporate tax side will result in job creation and a faster growing economy.
We drove to a perch high above Apple's data center on 1,700 acres of Nevada land. Back on the ground, we asked about those batteries and whether Apple was clear enough that they were in some cases slowing down people's phones.
Do you think Apple
came with the stands and stuff?
Its customers about what was going on with their phones?
About a year ago, we released some code that essentially what it does.
Lights, because the lights I had inside here actually bright, so it's just like a white light as opposed to
daylight.
Yeah, and
an unhealthy battery has a probability that
I find
it
it
will
dull,
create
it's
an
like 45 watt
unexpected
bulb
restart.
this
When we did put it out, we did say what it was, but I don't think a lot of people were paying attention, and maybe we should have been clearer as well. And so we deeply apologize for anybody that thinks we had some other kind of motivation.
Rebecca Jarvis with Tim Cook exclusively today. The White House welcoming the news on these new jobs and the check being written to the U.S. taxpayer. In fact, the president tweeting right before we came on the air tonight. And Rebecca, I know that you asked, with all this money Apple is bringing back to the U.S., if customers might expect to see a cheaper iPhone.
Yes, David, that is unlikely. Tim Cook told me that the phone costs what the innovation inside of it costs, and he believes it is the right price for now, David.
And real quick, Rebecca, I know you tried really hard here. Did he give you any hint as to where this new campus might be, where the new jobs are coming?
They've narrowed it down to a handful of locations. It won't be in Texas or California, where Apple already has a big presence, and he tells me we'll get a clue coming up later this year, David.
All right, stay tuned for that. Rebecca Jarvis with Tim Cook tonight. And on the economy, the Dow Jones breaking another barrier tonight, finishing above 26,000 for the first time, closing at 26,115 points, spiking 322 points. That's just 7 trading days after breaking through the 25,000 marker. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. The police officer struck in Times Square, breaking developments in the search for suspects. The officer injured in a hit and run. You remember that moment, trying to stop that driver. The news coming in right now.
I saw that
The
last
college
night.
football quarterback found dead in his
Something happened in
apartment
Times
where
Square, and the
police
person
have
that
now
they
revealed
arrested
tonight.
is some light-skinned young boy, like around our age.
A 10-year-old
He doesn't look like a
hockey
terrorist
player
at
and
all.
that mother of 3, a marathon runner. And now we learned that both of them had either been taken to the hospital or to urgent care. So why are so many of these cases so sudden? We'll be right back.
Next tonight here, new concerns about the deadly flu, the newest victims, and a reminder tonight about the rapid test that you can get if you or a loved one might have it. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, the flu moving fast, claiming the young and strong. 10-year-old Nico Malosi from Connecticut gearing up for a travel hockey tournament hundreds of miles from home when his mother took him to a local ER. He tested positive for the flu and was released. But before he made it back home, Nico grew sicker and was rushed to another hospital where he later died from pneumonia and sepsis.
Nico was a very lively, vibrant, spirited kid.
Nico's story painfully similar to that of Katie Oxley Thomas, a 40-year-old marathon runner who died of similar complications. She went to an urgent care center, was released, then went to an ER with worsening flu symptoms. She died 15 hours later.
Sometimes things happen, and it could be because somebody has an additional condition that we weren't aware of. If you're developing very high fevers, if you're not able to keep down any food or drink, if you become lightheaded, really should go back to the emergency room.
Doctors using rapid tests at urgent care centers like this one, getting results in just 5 minutes. And David, tonight hospitals are also dealing with IV bag shortages. Many of them are made in hurricane-ravaged Puerto Rico, so we're told that it could take weeks or months for this shortage to be resolved. David?
Gio, thank you. When we come back here tonight, the death of a college football quarterback, and a breaking headline right now involving an officer struck in New York's Times Square, what we just learned. To the Index, an arrest tonight in the manhunt for a hit-and-run driver in New York's Times Square. A police officer run down and injured trying to stop that reckless driver. 2 suspects have now been arrested tonight. There is news about a college football quarterback at Washington State University. 21-year-old Tyler Belinsky was found dead in his apartment from an apparent suicide. Head coach Mike Leach calling him, quote, an incredible young man.
You just
and
see
the
your
fireball
body.
in the sky.
Yes.
Meteors seen in at least
Yeah.
6 states overnight. The rumbling strong enough to register as a magnitude 2.0 earthquake in part of Michigan last night. When we come back amid this storm, the boy, not even 2, with proof spring is coming.
A little bit bigger.
Finally, America strong. And speaking of strong, the toddler swinging for the fences.
Asher Willig hasn't even turned 2. The look on his face and his
big for
dance
2.
for his proud dad
something.
Corey. Asher's swing already seen by so many. The Lawrenceville, Georgia family says Asher learned it all from his dad, who played in the minors. Asher studying his every move. Then at 13 months old, he began swinging. Now, just shy of 2. Not only swinging, running.
Hey David, we're the Willigs.
And they're proud of their baseball star.
This little baby's been obsessed with baseball since he could walk.
And he knows when they're talking about baseball.
You know it. So you can tell he's really excited even if he hears the word baseball.
So with weeks left until spring training tonight, Asher getting a head start.
My money's on Asher. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.
You need more for that one? You said no? Oh. Let me check where that one's pointing to. Yeah, so just like this, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Teaming up with actress Anika Noni Rose to make a sweet treat from the Northeast. Here we go. Then Michael's putting a light and tasty spin on an all-American classic that you asked for. Plus a fresh West Coast twist on a family vibe. And it all starts in 3, 2, 1.
More? How it looking? That one's good. Side. Top of your face is what? Bottom of your face is and you can't put it in, you want this one higher? Because you can see her, but and you can see your body, but like but when it's going up, you'll need to go higher. So that's what I'm thinking. You could stop it right there. That's it. Yeah. Ooh, look at my belly. Shot. I think you'll be able to zoom in. I think you need to go higher. Higher, so. And come down and look down. Okay. I'm trying to figure out. But that is perfect there. I could always go higher and zoom down.